What if the person you trusted the most was the one who planned your destruction from the very beginning? Stay till the end, because this chapter changes everything. And if you love intense twists, dangerous secrets, and unforgettable love stories, hit subscribe right now, because you're not ready for what's coming next. The night had a strange silence to it, the kind that made every small sound feel louder than it should be, as if the world itself was holding its breath waiting for something terrible to happen. And as she stood by the window watching the city lights flicker in the distance, she felt it again. That same unsettling feeling that had been creeping into her chest for days now, growing heavier with each passing hour, refusing to be ignored any longer, because deep down she knew that whatever was coming next would change everything she thought she understood about her life, about him, about the fragile illusion of safety she had been clinging to like it was the only thing keeping her from falling apart, and yet she couldn't look away. Couldn't step back, couldn't pretend she didn't already see the cracks forming in the truth she had been told, because tonight, for the first time, she was ready to face it, no matter how much it hurt. She hadn't meant to find the file. It wasn't even something she had been searching for, just a random moment, a careless movement, opening the wrong drawer in his office while waiting for him to return. But the moment her fingers brushed against that cold metal folder, something inside her shifted, like instinct taking over before logic had a chance to intervene. And even though every part of her knew she should close it, walk away, pretend she never saw it, she couldn't stop herself from opening it, from pulling out the papers inside, from letting her eyes scan the words that would shatter everything. At first, it didn't make sense. Names, dates, transactions, things that looked ordinary on the surface, but the deeper she read, the more the pieces began to connect in ways that made her stomach twist. Because those weren't just random records, they were evidence, carefully hidden and deliberately buried, and the worst part wasn't what they revealed, it was who they pointed to. Him. Her breath caught in her throat as the realization hit her, sharp and unforgiving, and for a moment she couldn't move, couldn't think, couldn't even process the flood of emotions crashing into her all at once. Disbelief fighting against the undeniable truth staring back at her from those pages, because there had to be an explanation, there had to be something she was missing. Some reason that would make this all make sense, but no matter how many times she tried to look at it differently, the conclusion remained the same, cold and inescapable. He had been lying to her. Not just small lies, not harmless secrets, but something bigger, something darker, something that went far beyond anything she could have imagined. And as the weight of that truth settled in her chest, she felt something break inside her, something she wasn't sure could ever be fixed again. The sound of the door opening behind her made her freeze. For a split second, she considered hiding the file, pretending nothing had happened, but it was too late for that, too late to go back to ignorance, too late to undo what she had already discovered, and as his footsteps echoed through the room, steady and unhurried, she knew there was only one thing left to do. Face him. You weren't supposed to see that. His voice was calm, almost too calm, and that scared her more than anything else, because there was no shock in his tone. No panic, no attempt to deny it, just a quiet acceptance that made her heart race faster, her grip tightening around the papers as she slowly turned to face him, searching his eyes for something, anything, that would tell her this wasn't real. "Tell me it's not what I think," she said, her voice trembling despite her efforts to keep it steady. For a moment, he didn't respond. He just stood there, watching her with that same unreadable expression, as if weighing his options, as if deciding how much of the truth she deserved to hear, and the silence stretched between them, thick and suffocating, until finally, he took a step closer. "It depends," he said quietly. "What do you think it is?" Her chest tightened. "This, all of this," she gestured to the file, her hands shaking now, unable to hide it anymore. "These transactions, these names, they're not random, are they? You've been involved in something illegal, something dangerous." "Careful," he interrupted, his voice still calm but carrying a subtle edge now, one that made her pulse quicken. "You're making assumptions. Then prove me wrong." She shot back, the fear inside her finally giving way to anger, because she couldn't stand the way he was looking at her, like she was the one who didn't understand, like she was the one being unreasonable, when he was the one hiding secrets that could destroy them both. Another pause. And then, slowly, something changed in his expression. Not guilt, not regret, something colder. "You really want the truth?" he asked. Her heart pounded. Yes. And for the first time since she had known him, he didn't hesitate. Fine, he said. But once you hear it, there's no going back. The words sent a chill down her spine, but she forced herself to nod, even though every instinct was screaming at her to run, to escape before it was too late, because she needed to know, needed to understand what she had gotten herself into, even if the truth ended up destroying her. He took another step closer, his gaze locking onto hers, and when he spoke again, his voice was lower, more intense, like he was finally dropping the mask he had been wearing all this time. Everything you found, he said, it's real. Her breath hitched. But it's not the whole story. Before she could respond, before she could even process what he meant, he reached into his jacket and pulled out something small, something metallic, and for a split second her mind couldn't register what it was, couldn't comprehend why he would have it, until the light caught its surface and everything fell into place. A gun. The world seemed to stop. I didn't want it to happen like this, he continued, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around them, but you weren't supposed to find out. Not yet. Fear gripped her chest, sharp and suffocating, as she took a step back, her mind racing for a way out, for anything that could get her away from this moment, from him, from the truth that had just turned her entire world upside down. Who are you? She whispered. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Something almost human, but it disappeared just as quickly as it came. Someone you should have never trusted. And in that moment, she realized the most terrifying truth of all. This wasn't the end of the story. It was only the beginning.